Senator, can you tell us about your trip to the Beverly Hills Supper Club last December, what you saw?
Yes, I went up there December 11th to see one of their shows. And I was struck as I was coming out by the crowd and by the what I considered really dangerous facilities in the exit. And coming out, there appeared to be just one door out of which everybody came, and I normally don't notice these things, but that one I did, and it took about 20 minutes to leave the main door and getting out of the showroom. So when I got back to Frankfort, I went to see the fire marshal. He's a good friend of mine, a personal friend, and I went to see him to make him aware of that situation. And he was already aware of the situation and had been trying for quite some time to do something about it without much success. And he seemed a little bit worried about the situation and said that if anything ever did happen up there, which turned out to be sadly prophetic, if anything ever did happen, that he had the correspondence in his files which showed that he had at least tried to do something. And the only thing I can glean from that is that he was restricted from going on and carrying out his duties by somebody else.
Did he tell you who it was?
No, he didn't. He didn't say who it was, but I encouraged him to continue in his efforts and try to see if he could rectify that situation. And I thought it probably would have been by this time, but evidently it wasn't.
This is your regular job. How'd you get involved in this?
I heard that the night of the fire that there were a lot of people trapped inside here and all this melting steel. And being a structural iron worker and bridgeman, I understand how these buildings were put together. And when I got here, the fire chief told me that I'd be in charge under his command of the whole operation here to inform him of what bridging, what steel joists and what girders would buckle first so he could get his men out and how many people we could get out of this building before the roofs came in.
What's been the toughest job about going through this building?
The toughest job, I have been on 2 of these prior to this, and the toughest job about going through this one is the mass death that I have seen. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I was in the Coliseum in 1963, the downtown fire in Indianapolis in 74. And never anything like this. I mean, there were people just sitting in their chairs. It looked like a wax museum in there, just sitting in their chairs.
When somebody comes in to identify a body, they report over to the nursing home. They are then processed by the chaplains group over there and then are brought over in the company of a chaplain. They come in here, go to the missing persons desk, which you see is right here by that fan. They then fill out certain papers. From there, they are processed over to the other desk you see over there in front of the screen where identification is tentatively made. They are then taken over to the body and viewed the body and then go back to that desk. Then the funeral home is notified. They come and fill out patients here at the registrar's desk. This young lady here is from the State Bureau of Vital Statistics in Frankfort. She happened to be visiting in Cincinnati with her brother when this happened, and was fortunate for us because she had all the know-how.
It's coming Sunday at 5 p.m. in a joint statement from the Governor, Carroll, from our County Judge, Lambert Hill, and myself. There will be a memorial service here on the site at 5 p.m. Sunday, and we're inviting all dignitaries, all emergency people who took part in this, the relatives of the victims, and anyone who would like to pay a memorial to this tragedy that's taken place in our greater Cincinnati area.
What were your thoughts in planning the memorial service here on the site?
Could you repeat that, please?
What were your thoughts in planning the memorial service?
It just felt like once that we got the removal part of it, that something has to be done. There has to be some tribute paid for the loss of such lives here, and I think really now as the tragedy starts to wind down, the fire chief, myself, and the local people within the area, it's starting to sink in the full effect of this, and it is more like go back and read through articles and look at investigators from the state are still going through the building. It's hopefully that they may be able to wrap up tonight. If not, the investigating team going through the building will be finished by tomorrow night.
Do you know where it started?
It's only still speculating, and it's getting more valid that it's probably toward the front of the building in the, as earlier reported, the zebra room.
There were chairs in the aisles, and the place was very overcrowded. What do you have to say about that? How did it look to you, and how dangerous was it in terms of overcrowding, exits, things like that?
Well, I know it was overcrowded. I helped a cocktail waitress put down chairs in the aisles, right at the steps. It was overcrowded. You couldn't get out even just to go to the restroom. It was probably hard for you to get out to go to the restroom.
Were any of the exit doors locked?
No, the exit doors weren't locked. You just have to push on those. There's only 3, and there's a glass door. One was locked, and I tried to hit that with my shoulder to get it open. I couldn't get it open, then it was just a waste of time, so I left the door.
Why are you here this morning?
Just to get my car.
To what?
To get my car. I've been trying to get it for a while.
Judging by what you say was the overcrowding and what else you saw in there that night, do you think it would have been easy to prevent such a tremendous loss of life? What would have had to have been done? Was it poorly organized? What happened? Was the place poorly set up or what?
I don't think there was any organization in the place in the first place. You couldn't get in touch with the cabaret room unless you took the microphone away from the entertainers anyway. There's no intercom in the place at all. There's no fire alarms. There are lights in there. There's a light in the hallway that's it's an emergency light. I don't even know how to turn it on. They don't instruct you on that kind of stuff. You just work there. But there's a emergency light. It's a battery-operated light in the hallway that could have been turned on. I don't know if anybody turned it on.
You say it was not turned on, or you don't know?
I don't know.
Well, why did
there's all the black smoke?
Do you have any knowledge of why the lights all of a sudden went out?
I don't know. I told them to turn up the lights. I don't know why the lights went out. They might have, I don't know. Some people turn out lights and fires. I don't know.
Well, one busboy said that he was told by a bar boy that a bartender turned out the lights deliberately.
No, I don't know about that, but I went up to the light man in the light room and told them to turn up the lights so that people could see to get out. After everybody's out, you can turn off the lights. I don't care, but
What happened when you did that?
They were sitting there with these spotlights, and then they just walked over. I know the light switches on the wall, and they just flipped up the house lights.
How long have you worked there?
A year.
A year? Were you ever instructed in any sort of fire drills or anything?
No.
Tell me about this. Was the staff instructed in how to avert emergencies like this?
No. Yeah. They don't tell you anything. They just put you out there to work.